Hey there. I was thinking how it must look like I pretty much am the same every day. I show up with the same background. I show up pretty much wearing the same version of clothing. Yeah, I call it consistency. How about you? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, people. Friday. Wait, say the 21st? It is. Okay. Go figure. Friday, the 21st of November of 2025. Isn't it kind of mind-blowing that some of us who remember the big Y2K, outing myself as a Gen Xer here, realizing we are 25 years into this century. Pooh! Crazy. Hey, here. There we go. Kaylin, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good night to everyone. Let me do this. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Good morning, Nat, backup Chloe Nat Ray. And I see Coffee and Calm has shown up today, and Melissa, and somebody spreading some sunshine. So good morning. I have some fun stuff to share with you today. I do. I have been doing some paper decluttering. Calm, exactly. We were talking a lot about paper decluttering yesterday, so I hope that those of you who participated got some good stuff out of it. Pardon me as I'm looking for my pen. I think better when I've got something to write with. Something that's not like a giant Marks-a-Lot. Pencil will do. Alrighty, so good ID Princess. It's early for you this morning. My goodness. Lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you all. So I am going to share with you my journey in my paper decluttering, my personal paper decluttering, because I think this may be helpful to you. All right. And this is kind of why I show up. So those of you who don't know me, I know we've just got a handful of people because it's right at just about two minutes past 9 o'clock Eastern time anyway. And my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, showing up pour vous for you to help you with what you may be jammed up with and stuck with clutter-wise. Now, I do this personally, I do this professionally, and right now, I am going through my own personal clutter. I'm going through my own personal archives, if you think about it. The museum of me that I've been trugging along. And I will share with you, okay? I am so psyched. And I did this earlier today. I had this revelation the other day when I realized that I had a giant plastic tote, like a big one, and it was filled with black binders. And at the point when they were still in there, they had, something that said what it contained in here. It suddenly occurred to me, or it dawned on me, that I had been lugging around paper proof of something to somebody. Now that somebody could be me. But for a long time, a lot of what I had, and specifically, this is where it gets interesting, specifically that I had it in a binder like this, or a notebook like this. These are all empty now, by the way. Or, a little thingy like this. Is I had organized, here, we've got this one, and now these were heavy. These are a mofo. Okay, this one, and this one. All of these. Oh, this is not light, people, but see this? I literally had been lugging those around in order to prove to people that I did something at some time. What I was able to do was go through those things, get curious about what was in them and why I still had them in these containers, basically. And I realized that those containers were obsolete. The reason I had, and I'm slowing down this process greatly so you can see kind of how the thought process works. okay? And what I want to offer to you is I realized that while there were some things in those binders that I still wanted to keep, the binders were heavy and I had outgrown their usage. The reason I had my stuff in that container was to easily show somebody else my work. I don't have to do that anymore. So what I was able to do was take all the stuff from there, and hopefully, Nat, you can still hear me. You'll hear me. Nothing looks like it's changed on my part, but I don't. But all that stuff in there has basically turned into this pile that I'm keeping. And you guys, check this out. All of this that I have literally, what was the oldest thing? I think something in there was literally from 1995. Yeah, 1995 when I started doing some of this stuff. Even before then, frankly. Is all of that's going into the recycle bin. I am keeping some of it myself, and I will share with you. It was interesting for me to realize that I have outgrown that need to show somebody my work. That I don't need to prove, and this is what I wrote down, and this was what I wanted to share with you guys. This is why I didn't put that stuff in the recycle bin or put these things in the box that are going to go to the thrift store. I wrote this down to myself, and so I'm going to share it with you about decluttering my own paperwork. Paper is proof, and this is just notes to me. Paper, proof that I was what? And then I wrote proof that I was and am and always will be a visually creative person, because I used to design ads and logos and create, books and things. I said, but I no longer need all this stuff to prove anything to anyone, including myself. Bam. I hadn't shown anybody in decades my work. So who am I planning on showing it to? So I just share with you. What does the stuff that you save, tell? What story does it tell about you? Is there another way? I live a creative life. You know that. You hang out with me all the freaking time. I've hung around with you guys more than I have my husband in the past months because he hasn't been around. So I just offer that thought to you. Am I saving this, fill in the blank, noun, if we play Mad Libs, am I saving this noun to prove something to somebody? And that somebody can be yourself. If I am, do I still need to prove that? Is that as important as it used to be? And man, did I find out the answer was no. And it is so freeing. And I am not typically like a person who follows my astrology and stuff, but I've heard about kind of, wrapping things up and tidying things up, and the whole, I was going to say new moon on Monday because I'm more of a Duran Duran fan, but the whole notion of the moon in Scorpio and retrograde and all that. It feels so good to not be physically lugging around the physical heavy weight of these things that I haven't looked at in decades, thinking that I may need to prove to somebody someday that I was a worthy person. So see if that can help you. Okay? I was so excited to share that with you. Aw, Melissa's sick at home. Boo. Sick at home going through jewelry that I listed on eBay, so it's easier to find when I sell. So I do love, Melissa, I hope you feel better, but notice even when you're not feeling good, and this is not meant to tell everybody you got to work all the time, but even when you're feeling kind of crappy, there may be a little something you can do to distract yourself from feeling crappy. Good morning, Laura Gibbon Voorhees and Marietta. Laura says, I am excited about some decluttering. That's the energy. Yay. I am excited about some decluttering I'm doing today. I have a box of books for the library and hosta root clumps for a community that houses previously unhoused men. I love it. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, you are reminding me. I love this because I have a wicked lot of hosta too. I'm going to just write down my friend's work because I want to follow up because I have hosta I want to get rehomed as well. I had to move my whole hosta garden and I'm excited that a guy at the community wants some. Yay. Good stuff. Notice how decluttering can feel good. Who was I talking to last night about it? I was talking to my eye doctor on the phone last night because I'm getting eye surgery in a couple of weeks. And she said to me, oh, before we get off the phone, I wanted to share with you. And what was her story? Her story was about something that somebody had given their child that the child no longer wanted. And she offered it up on like a local free site. And not only did somebody want this cassette tape stereo player, but they shared that the reason they wanted it was because somebody's dad was in a band. And some of the only recordings they have of the dad in the band is on cassettes. And so my eye doctor being able to let go of and share this cassette stereo is allowing another family to hear the music of the dad when they previously weren't able to. Now, that was a story that felt good to my eye doctor. How can I let go of something and help somebody while I'm doing it? Something great to think. Another really cool thing happened yesterday, and I wrote a note to myself to say, write it down in my good book of yesterday. Oh, there's my pen. Cool. Glad I moved that. As I am going through my own kind of archives of stuff that I've saved for me, I am also coming across things that I realize it might be fun to share with the people who they came from. Either pictures of friends who they might want to have pictures for their own archives of when they looked younger. A couple of articles from the newspaper I came across that were written about friends of mine. Now, one of them I took a picture of and I just sent it out to on what do you call it? Brain fart. Facebook Messenger. Just took a picture of what I did and sent it off to that person whose birthday is today. Another one, I had it and it was like a Xerox copy and it already looked like it was folded into thirds. I don't even remember why I had this, but it was from 1997 and it was an article written about a friend. And so I popped it into an envelope and I just mailed it to him because I'm still friends with those people that I met in like 1984. Both of those guys I met in 84. Yay, college radio. And I got such a wonderful text last night from the friend who received out of the blue to him this article that I had saved and said, who might like this? Rob might like this. And I sent it to him and he was like, oh my God, I totally forgot this was written about me. Thank you so much. I can't even. And he literally said, bless your decluttering heart. And he didn't mean it in the Southern snarky way. So think of, again, and here's a sobering moment. That friend of mine who I was able to share that article with, one of the reasons I was able to share it with is because he is alive. He was diagnosed with some cancer a couple of years back. We weren't sure he was going to be around, but he is. So I say this to you. To say, if you have something that's just kind of sitting around and you're thinking you want to give it to somebody, send it to them, give it to them sooner rather than later. While they're still alive, while they can appreciate it, share it with them. Feel good. That is a mutual feel good. That is a mutual feel good. I felt good sending it to him because I thought, oh, this might bring a smile to his face. He got it and it did bring a smile to his face. And then he sent me a text and then we exchanged some texts with some smiles and good vibes and it raises the whole vibe. So think about the stuff that you have saved. And it could be not just like an article in the paper. It could be, What's that thing you want? What's that family heirloom that you want to give somebody? Maybe give it to them sooner rather than later. Yeah. Bonnie Esther, nice to see you. Hope you and your ukulele are doing well. What a great testimony of little ways we love and honor one another. And yeah, how can you love yourself by letting go of things that you're basically hanging on to for other people? But share it with others. Sometimes you will know the people you want to directly send them to. That article would have meant nothing to anybody else. Well, almost. Except for the person who was in it. There are other things you have in your house that you will never know who the person who benefits from it is personally. However, that shouldn't stop you. Think about it. This stuff that's behind me in my shelves right here, that, all of that stuff, I don't know who initially donated any of my vintage stuff to anywhere. I don't know them personally, professionally. I have no idea where they came from. All I know is that somebody gave them to a third place, a middle ground, a thrift store, an antique store, something like that. Somebody put it out in circulation again so it could match up with me. So just because you don't know who's going to get it doesn't mean it's not going to revolutionize and bring joy to somebody's life. Okay? Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty, so Cat Mama, you say you've got some old black and white wedding photos from 50s of aunts and uncles. Mom had because Dad stood up most of them. Okay. What do you want to do with them? What do you want to do with them? This is the life coach in me coming out, I can tell. What do you want to do? What do you want? Do you want to keep those photos or not? Now, I admit, I know the responsibility it is because I'm a fourth generation parentified daughter, but I have willingly taken on the responsibility of being the family archivist, the family tree person. So I know myself that part of my responsibility is doing something with the photos that people give me. I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. I have thrown away some things. I have saved some things. So I say to you, and I say this to all of you because I'm a decluttering coach, sure. But I'm not the kind that's going to be like, here, get some plastic containers and like superficial stuff, yes, but we go deeper here. Because a lot of why we hang on to stuff has got roots. It's not just something you can pull off the surface like in the garden. And this is where the life coaching comes in. So I say to you, and I may be asking you a question that you're not used to asking yourself, which is, what do I want? Do I want to display these photos or not? Do I want to keep these photos at all in their current form or not? What do I want? And that is not a selfish question. That is a question I would like you to get more comfortable asking yourself all the freaking time. Okay? All the freaking time. Because why the hell not? Yes. And it's rooted in our heart, as Bonnie Esther says, in our brain. The way I like to say it is this. It's like you've got 3 layers of clutter: surface, stored, sentimental. So think of that as like the surface clutter is just the weeds on the surface, that you can get rid of those on the surface. But if you just cut them, they're going to grow again. If you don't change your habits, they're going to grow again. And if you dig deeper and get them out at the root, you will be less likely to clutter again. So surface clutter, yeah, but stored clutter and sentimental. And what I offer too is that concept of the things we keep tell us stories. Stories are made up with words. Words in our head make us feel feelings in our hearts. And the thoughts and the feelings equal what we do with our hands. Do we keep it? Do we let it go? Do we throw it away? Do we share it? Do we sell it? Do we hang on to it mean? Or do we hang on to it with love? Do we hang on to it with scarcity and lack and no, you can't have it? Or, hey, you know what? I have enough. Here, have some. Want some of my fries? Yeah. And Bonnie Esther, you're right, they are revealing questions. The questions are the prompt, kind of the turning on of the faucet. The answers are revealing to you. So I say to you, it's okay if you are struggling with letting go of some stuff in your house. And not all of the thoughts behind your stuff have to be, deep thoughts by Jack Handey. They can be, I have no idea why I kept this. I can easily get rid of it now. Yay for forgetting, right? But if there's an item in your home, if there's a thing that jams you up, I'm here to help you with that. And sometimes it's not by buying a clear plastic container and a label maker. It's noticing what you do and why you do it, and either continuing to do what makes you feel good, kind of a no-brainer, but not really, because sometimes we do things that don't make us feel good. Continuing to hang on to the things, to happily keep the things that we want, and happily letting go of the stuff we don't want anymore. And that is the clutter, that's the nouns, that's the physical stuff. But it's also the thoughts and feelings and stories associated with some of that stuff, including decluttering your brain with unhelpful thoughts that cause unhelpful feelings. Does that make sense? I hope so. I find this such a fascinating journey. I know it's not for everybody, but I have felt such good, deep wisdom and knowledge and self-awareness. And so I love being on this journey, both with myself and with you. You may be just starting out and being like, I don't even know what this lady's talking about, but I have too much stuff in my house and I can't even. So I will meet you at any point on your journey, decluttering. The only thing is a requirement is I can't pull you on the journey. I am not like pulling a dead car. I help you get your engine going so you can drive on this journey, because it is so much more important to me that you learn how to do this yourself. Yep. And here's a funny thing. My sister's texting me. I should have put on my do not disturb, but I didn't. And I don't want to jam up our connection here. I will get back to her, I promise. Yeah. So damn it, Donna. Notice, she says, I had hidden grief going through photos. Notice that you had feelings of grief. And when you went through the photos, they went from hidden to being the opposite. You revealed your grief. That's okay. Processing your grief, allowing yourself to feel it and not hiding it I believe, is healthy. Letting go of it. To me, it's a way almost of the body releasing the toxins, the shame, the throwing up, the crying, the pooping, whatever that natural thing is that you do. Expressing your grief is part of the human experience. So none of us want to throw up or cry or things like that. But after we do that, we feel a little bit better. We may feel tired and exhausted, but exhausted. We've gotten something out of us that we've kept in. Yeah. Now, Bonnie Esther says it's the depth of the definition purging our mind and physical space of barriers. Yeah. And the funny thing is I don't even like to use the word purge, because it reminds me of like anorexia and bulimia. I just say, let go. Let go. Purging can be like you throw up what you don't want. Yeah. Therapy Gal Sue says, I can use avoidance as a coping strategy. Yay, me too. Decluttering helps me work on that. Yes, I have been not actively avoiding, but for a while I did not. I'll just go back to this big plastic tote that had these heavy binders in it. I hadn't really gone past I've always kept them. Yep, those are the things I'm proving to somebody. If anybody ever needs to know that I was a creative person, these are all my portfolios. Who needs to see that anymore? Not me. Not me. I'm saving some of the things because some of them I'm like, yeah. So this is really funny. One of the things I'm saving is just this. So this was from July 31st of 1991. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but do you guys remember paper like this and how it's all kind of fadey and stuff? This is freaking fax paper. This is like that heat activated fax paper. I think it's kind of fun to realize how much paper has changed. You know, this was before the internet. This was before everybody had a computer at their homes. And so I save that. Yeah, a lot of this is old-timey. August 8th, 1991. That's so funny. It was the day after my birthday, 91. I would have been like 25? Yeah, I was only 25 years old. I was like a year or two older than my nieces right now when I was doing that. That's crazy. Full real text. My ex used to fax me letters from Egypt. That's wonderful. I was going through some stuff. Speaking of my sister, she doesn't know this yet, but I saved many of the letters she sent me when she lived in Spain, when she was in college, when she was younger than her daughter is now. And they were on that little tissue paper of airmail paper. And so think about how much technology has changed what we do. Yeah. And yes, Edna, I outed my birthday. Yeah. So I say to you, even the concept of having a physical binder with printed out pages to show, oh, Edna, yay, Leos, awesome. Having a physical binder you would carry with you to show somebody your work. Nowadays, I'm sure everybody has an online portfolio. Some of the things we create nowadays, God, I should have put on my things. Some of the things we create nowadays doesn't even exist in the physical world. It only exists on the internet. I have created websites that if I have created writing and websites that if there was no electricity, it wouldn't exist. There we go. Now, Kelly, there we go. The August 7's in the house. Maybe I'm calling in my Leos as well as my Gen Xers. Come on. So enough about me, though. Enough about me. How about you? I'm here. It's 9:28 in the morning Eastern time. I'm here for another half hour. Okay, I'm older than y'all, Kelly and Edna, but I'm here with you. August 7th. It's a good day. I am. So how can I help you today? One of the ways I was thinking of helping you was sharing some of my own stories in the journey. But a lot of what I can do is a lot more targeted to where you're jammed up. When I share a story, it might hit you and it might not. Okay, so Kelly is saying, my mom passed away and she had lots of stuff. It really affected her life negatively. Yeah. So Kelly, that is too bad for your mom, and I feel bad that your mom passed. But I'm here for you. If you want to be that way, there we go, Okie teacher. We get the 66ers. Do you want to have lots of stuff that would negatively affect your life like your mom did, or do you want to do something different? The choice is yours. And the choice is ours, everybody, is we can choose to continue doing what we've always done. I did that for decades. I didn't think I had a choice. I wasn't encouraged to think I had a choice. It's like, nope, this is just how things are. In the biz, we call this a fixed mindset. What's the other one? Not flexible mindset. It's better, though. I'll call it flexible mindset. You always have a choice. Even if you don't have a choice of what you do, like I got to go to work today, you can do something very subversive and awesome, which is you can change how you think about it and feel about it. Growth mindset. Thank you, Okie teacher. No wonder. Yes, and Danielle, thank you guys for filling in the blanks when I get a brain fart. Okay. Yes. I appreciate that growth mindset. And notice that fixed, you're stuck. You're fixed. You don't change. Growth. Growth. Like flowers, like blooming, you know? So, yes, you can choose to become a growth mindset person. Yeah. Erin is saying, I just moved into my boyfriend's place and struggling to figure out where things should go. So, Erin, one of the things I remembered in some of the pictures I have here is from when I would do visual merchandising for many retailers. And what I offer to you is this, and this is how I have set up my life. And in fact, it's really funny because I had started, I wish I could find, if I could easily find it, it would be wicked funny. I started writing kind of a document decades ago about how to, what do you call it? Merchandise. And I would say this, Erin, I would do it slowly and organically. I would let it unfold naturally because that to me is when things work out the best. Now, temporarily, you may need to quickly unpack some stuff that you need on a daily basis, but know what you do. Struggling to figure out where things should go. Give me an example of some of the things that you're struggling to put somewhere. Now, it can be a challenge when you're moving into an existing structure. It's almost like when we would, for example, at Pier 1. You have your store is set up for the year-round store, but then suddenly all this extra Christmas stuff, this holiday stuff is coming in, and you need to shuffle things around to make room for the new stuff. I'm thinking that might be a similar thing with you and your stuff coming into your boyfriend's place. It's like he wasn't always living with only 50% of the space. He was probably spread out because it was his place. So now it's a matter of what do I want to put where, and that there will, I think, organically need to be a shuffling of where things are so that you have a place that's the both of you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now Marietta is saying, much like we would do visual displays, I literally wrote the word three-peat in one of my things here. Group items in 3-5 with similar or complementary color palettes. Now that is a good answer for the visual, how you want it to look and if you want it to look good. But Marietta, I say before you even do that, decide what you want. Do you want this item and where do you want it? Because it doesn't matter if it looks good if it's stuff that's going to gather dust. Yeah, I got my interior design certification. Rock on. Good morning, Country Fences, Dallas, Texas. Nice to see you. Destination Decluttered, Beth, decluttering life coach here from the suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and going to be here for the next 27 minutes or so. So before, as you make it look good, the way you do the both is deciding what you want, that you do want what you display, and even some of the things you do want, does it need to be on display? You know? Now, I love this. I love when I see people chatting with each other in the comments because a lot of this is about community. Let's tackle it together. I love it. Let's be independent together. Yeah. Alrighty. Now, Cat Mama just did something. She wrote something down in the comments, but writing a note to self, as I like to call it. Remind self, need to clear out. One of the reasons I want to clear out, says Cat Mama, I want to adopt more cats after my senior boy leaves me. I had 3 and now I'm down to 1. Yeah, so what can I do to make my home decluttered and welcoming to kitties? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And she says, oh, definitely this advice only applies after you've decluttered what you love. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like we needed to display certain boxes of stemware and things like that when we cleared the surface and knowing intentionally the product we wanted to push. So notice that about what you have. And I just offer to you that I wish I could find that piece. I will do it in a future TikTok live and YouTube live. And speaking of, we do still have some of those scheduled for next week. I do need to get together with my own brain for the first week of December. I do want to offer that too, that we will be doing more TikTok lives and YouTube lives. But right now is a Friday, and I've got Friday on my mind. Yeah. Alrighty. Now, Laura says, I have the same problem, decluttering when you have cats. They inspect everything I do. Now, here's a funny thing. Don't they often say cats are curious? Curiosity, curiosity the cat type of thing. What was that? Satisfaction. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought him back. So yeah, they're curious. What is this thing? They also, sometimes those kitties have a bit of judgment, right? Yeah. Okay, so Erin says, my crafting supplies is an example. Stuff that I want to use often, but not sure where it should live. So I would say in general, just as a very blanket statement for everybody, and this would apply as well, notice if you're going to use something, is there a place where it would make sense for you to use it? Is there a location that you would do your crafting that if you housed your crafting supplies near that location, it would make it easier for you to do the crafting, So notice that. Yeah. You do it already. You put kitchen stuff in the kitchen and bathroom stuff in the bathroom and bedroom stuff in the bedroom and office stuff in the office and that type of thing. And there may be an opportunity for you to do that. But what I would say is, sorry, I keep on getting distracted because I forgot to put my out of my do not disturb out. Sorry about that, you guys. I fell off the boat. How can you make it easier to do the things you want to do? You can experiment with putting the tools of the trade closer to where you would actually use them. If you're not able to do that, could you put them somewhere that's far further away from where you would do that? Like, let's say you want to do your crafts on the dining room table, but there's no place for your craft tote there. First of all, I would put your stuff in some sort of container, and so you can move it then. Could I do it? Could I put my craft items in a container? And again, as I look over, I am a fan. I used to be a fan of the big plastic totes, the clear ones with the white lids. Now I'm more of the half-size ones because the big ones can get heavy. So maybe you say, well, I will put all my crafting supplies in a tote or two, and I will store them someplace, inside a closet, but I will know where they are, and I will make it easy for me to get to them so that when I plan on doing my crafts, it's easier for me to get the tools. Does that help? I hope it does. Because notice that we sometimes think out of sight, out of mind, but sometimes when we have things in our face all day, it still does not make it easy for us to do the thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, Kelly Marie says, there was a study I read about a few years ago that women who had less stuff were happier. It depends. It depends on what stuff you have and if the less stuff feels just right to you. Now, this is the way I like to think of it, Kelly. So maybe they should have talked to me in this study. So what I have found personally and professionally as a decluttering life coach, what I will say is that there are 3 levels, much like surface, stored, or sentimental. I like to work with 3s because it is a magic number. And I say that there is an amount, a quantity of items, less stuff could feel like lack to some people. I don't like this feeling. I don't have enough. That doesn't feel good. When you get the number of items, the quantity and the quality of items that feels just right to you, to me, that is the sweet spot. I literally bonded over this concept when I was buying some new bed pillows last week at Home Goods. with the girl who was checking me out because we were saying how hard it is to find good bed pillows and whatever. And I said, yeah, it's kind of like I feel like I'm being like Goldilocks. Okay, so notice, having not enough can feel crappy. Having too much can feel crappy. That's clutter, is the too much and the crappy. Finding out the number, and it's not even a number, the feeling of I have just enough, I have the right amount for me. Not too little, not too much, just right for me. That to me is the sweet spot. Okay, now yay. Erin says it does. I think I need some more containers too. I have a growing pile of workout stuff taking over. Okay, so notice that you've got workout stuff too. Now, I will say this, and damn it, Donna is saying getting an armoire or cabinet. I really am team declutter, okay? So I will say this. Please make sure, if you buy containers before you declutter, you may buy too many containers, spend money you don't need to, and you may even get the wrong size. And what do I mean by the wrong size? You may purchase containers that are too big for what you really need. Now, if you notice, I showed you earlier this whole pile of binders that I had, that I emptied out. Now the neat thing is, instead of having one giant plastic tote, I can probably fit all of my stuff that I still want to keep in one much smaller box that fits in with the rest of my boxes. Okay? So I will always come to you with the notion of, did you declutter first before you bought a container? If you haven't, even if you want to contain things, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, my God, do you see how many containers I have that I organically am drawn to containing? Use something temporarily while you're decluttering. An Amazon box, a tote you already have, a suitcase. Get creative. A paper shopping bag. Yeah, and Country Fences is noticing I bought over 100 pantry storage containers that are still in the box. Wanderlust Girl says, now I have so many extra bins. Yeah, and I will say this to you too. I am excited about emptying out the rest of that plastic container. I may keep it for other things, or here's a tip. When you have too many containers, when you're giving away things, put them in those containers and give away the container at the same time. Okay? Yeah, Cat Mama, I was saying the exact same thing. Yeah, don't want to create more storage. I have donated with totes included. Yeah, and Country Fences. Yeah, my daughter said I have a problem collecting containers. This is what I have discovered, so I'll share it with you, Country Fences. Not just me, not just you, but other people. We are told by people who sell containers that all you need to do is contain the problem. What I say is there's nothing wrong with a nice looking container. I mean, please, I get joy out of what I've contained. But decluttering may absolve you of the need to even contain anything. Like, seriously. And here's another thing about containers. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Is like this storage unit, this IKEA shelving unit, is by its size, it is not compactable, but there's a lot of stuff in there that is, we would say in the biz, is kind of fluffed out to make it look good. I can make a surface look good like nobody's business. But if I did not have this storage container, I would probably happily not own as many items that are stored in it right now. But now I don't want it to look empty, so I fluff things out, but I would store things differently. So I say this to you as a kind of a cautionary tale. I was thinking about this in my kitchen today as I did the dishes. The way my 50s kitchen is, there's like the window and the sink, and on each side there's these 3 curved shelves on one side and 3 curved shelves on the other. I freaking loved that when we first moved in here. But I realized I have 2 Harlequin ball pitchers that are on there that I rarely, if ever, use. The only reason they are there is because I don't want the shelves to look empty. If I didn't have the shelves, I wouldn't feel like I needed to keep the thing. Okay? So I offer this to you to think about, be very judicious when you think about, I need more storage, because sometimes, and especially if these things had doors on them, it may not be so bad, like, storage, that type of, but open storage shelves to show off your stuff can sometimes be fun, but it also may have you keeping more things than you really want. Alrighty. Now, Tracy, I missed your beginning thing that you said. I apologize. I wonder how I could get help locally. So here's a cool thing, Tracy. I used to belong to the National Association of Professional Organizers. The acronym is NAPO, N-A-P-O. They've changed their name slightly, but there are people who actively court business. Their business is going into your house and helping you in person with your clutter. There are people who do that, so I would Google that. Okay. Now, Danielle, thank you. Thank you. I do like how that looks too, but man, if I was moving, I would be doing something different. But this was important to me, to have a house that showed off all of my stuff to me at a daily basis. And if anybody walked into my house, they would see all my cool things. And the association is, I've collected cool things, therefore I'm a cool person. I'm totally owning that. I think a lot of us display things to send a message to somebody. That somebody could be including yourself, Alrighty, we have a lot of international people here. Bienvenue, buongiorno, hola. I'm only here for another 12 minutes or so. It's my signature wall. It's my signature look. Oh my God, have you guys? This is so niche. Baroness von Sketch, my signature look. Oh my God, those women, freaking hysterical. Freaking hysterical. Google that, and if you're a woman of age, you will resonate and you will be so psyched that you're not alone. Alrighty. Country Fence is saying, I found companies on Thumbtack and Angie's List for help with organizing my house. So here's the thing with that. I love that, and if you can find people that help you, I say, get any help you can. You don't have to do it on your own. But what I will offer to everybody here is the one thing that other people cannot do for you, well, they could do it. The one thing that I think is important for you to get in touch with is, yes, and I am a traveling queen, right, is the fact that, how do I want to say this? Oh, God, I need more caffeine this morning. Making decisions. Somebody can hold the item up and say, what is this? Do you want it or not? They can offer their opinion, but I want you. This is why I show up. I show up specifically to help you make the decisions that make you feel good. Not like, well, the woman who was helping me declutter told me I should get rid of it, so I did, and now I regret it. So there are people who can help you with the physical things. But notice this, and Erin, trust me, years ago, a guy I was dating walked in my apartment and said, look at all your cool stuff. Yeah. We do that. That has happened often at our house. We've had people do videos in our house because we also have musicians who come in all the time. I love that. Would I still have a cool looking house if I didn't have as much stuff as I have right now? Yes. But the stuff that we have right now fits in this house. If we moved to Palm Springs, I would not take all of this stuff. Would I take some of it? Yes. And I would probably take more than I needed, so I would have a choice. And then once I got the house looking and feeling and functioning like I wanted, I would do another declutter. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Okay, Country Fences says, I got some help. I told them they were there to help me do it. I just needed someone there to help. Yes, and sometimes I will offer 2 ways in which having somebody there in person can help you. One is it helps you focus. because you can't all of a sudden be, oh, let me just Google that. If somebody's there and you're paying them, you're going to show up differently. You're going to be more focused. This is especially helpful with my ADHD people. We call it body doubling. Okay. The other thing too is when somebody else is there, you can pawn off some of the physical things. Okay, I have decided I don't want any of this stuff. You can go put it out in the garage. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and Erin, I think that's what I need to do. Another round of decluttering post-moving. Yes, because until you live in a space and live in it for a while, you don't know what you need and what you don't need. You came with your Brita pitcher, but he has a Brita pitcher. And maybe yours is better than his, so you guys declutter his. That type of thing. Yeah, Okie Teacher says, I agree. I had a pro come in and quote me $2,000 to organize my pantry. I'm so glad I did it myself. And then, then you have $2,000 to spend on a vacation. All right. So decluttering is decision making, deciding what you want, and on the flip side, what you don't want. And then having the confidence in yourself to make that come true. Yeah, or Country Fences says, or $2,000 on containers. Yeah. Nope. $2,000 to do whatever you want with it. Isn't it fun? So I'm here to help you with that. Just even have the confidence of standing up for yourself to saying, this is what I want. And that can be difficult when what you want runs counter to what other people think you should. Okay? If you guys have seen, and I have videos here, oh, this is kind of fun too. I'll just share this with you. Is Destination Decluttered on YouTube. This is kind of fun because I was going to say sometimes I've done many of the videos you see in my more recent TikToks, and also on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel are me in this room right here. This is where I do my work. This is my office. So you typically see the same background right here. When I do it on YouTube, this is funny. I don't know what will happen if I do this right now, but I'm going to say sometimes when I do it on YouTube, it's like this and you can see it more from a sideways view. Now you're all like, wait, what's happening? What I will offer to you is this TikTok live and other YouTube lives, things like that, I record and upload to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. So when you see some of my videos, you will see most of them have this colorful and fun and bright and cheery background. But also as I walk through my home, you will see that every single room in our house is painted pretty much a different color. That's not how I grew up. I grew up with people who said it needs to be traditional and classic and very, whatever. I didn't want that. So sometimes to get what you want may take a little bit of extra courage because you're standing up for yourself and you may need to rebel against what you grew up with. I have never been more happier to live in a house that I like how it looks every freaking day. And it took me some courage to get there. And when you have people in your life that encourage you, then you get more courage. So notice that. The other thing I was going to mention too, because we only have a few minutes left, I'm going to sign off a few minutes early right now because as you saw earlier, I've got some messages coming in. I want to make sure I get to those. This is really cool. Yesterday, I hit a milestone. 900, technically 901, and after I upload this one, it'll be 902. There are 900 free videos for you to watch, to listen to take notes on, to be inspired by, to put on in the background while you're decluttering on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay? And this is a crazy thing. I share this with you, not to show off, but to say, my gosh, if somebody had told me that I needed to do all that, I would be overwhelmed and I may not have even started. Instead, I started with one. I started with another. And then I made sure that the process was fun. I made sure that I didn't force myself to put on makeup or shower or get out of my pajamas sometimes. I showed up in a way that made it easier for me to do it over and over again. When I made it easier for me, I enjoyed the process. So the next time I thought of that, of doing a video or a live, it didn't feel like arduous. It felt easy. And that's how I was able to repeat and do this for years now. For years. Okay? I will say this. So I say that to you in decluttering. How can you lower the bar? How can you make it easy for yourself? Okay? How can you and maybe you don't know how, but that's why you hang out with me. All right? Yeah. Yeah, and here's a great thing. Danielle says, wow, that's an accomplishment. It is. Think how many people's lives you've helped and changed. I hope that number is more than one. That's all I care. But I will never know. And this is much like you donating something you don't want that still has life in it that somebody else may want. I will never know how many lives I have impacted positively, negatively, hopefully positively. I will never know that. There are people who could lurk and watch, and I never know they exist. But I show up anyway. I do it not just for the people who recognize me and give me their names, but I'm here. The only reason why there is a subset of stuff that I offer still for free, with the exception of my paid one-on-one coaching, everything else I offer for the most part is free. And the only reason that is restricted to people that are on my mailing list is because I don't want trolls showing up. Okay? I don't want trolls showing up. Marietta says, you changed mine. Yay. Oh, awesome, you guys. Well, here's a great thing. I love hearing that, but that's not why I do it. What I say is, thank you. I love all this. What I say is continue to help yourself with what you're learning from me, and keep your ears and mind and heart open for other people who you know that may be struggling with clutter, negative self-talk, and let them know. You don't have to coach them, but let them know what has helped you, like a good friend. Spread the word, kind of like, as I'll wrap up here, like the Gen Xer I am, like the Fabergé organic shampoo commercial. I tell two friends, and then you tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. All right? So I love it. Gigi Gina says, you speak my language. Yeah. And Country Fences, I love that you're teaching your kids what you have taught me, because this is the stuff many of us didn't know. We were not taught when we were growing up. That's okay. We can still learn. We can still grow. And we can start that learning and growing at any time. Okay? And speaking of learning and growing, I'm going to learn and grow today. I hope you have a wonderful day too. There are some TikTok lives and YouTube lives. We have a declutter party on Monday, and you can find out all about that when you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. If you want to join, it's free, it's low key. DestinationDecluttered.com. Scroll down to the bottom, add your email, you're in. All right? Have a wonderful day. There we go. Ocean Anna says, I really need to pull from everything that I've learned from you today. Pull it out of you and write it down. Oh, the basement flooded. Oh, hun, this is going to sound horrible, but that's going to make your decluttering a lot easier, because some of that stuff's going to be all stinky. My heart goes out to you, my dear. All right? I will see you guys on Monday.